My name is Hilda, and I would like to thank all of you for your support over the years for my project that God has placed on my heart. And this is a trailer of my first movie. I am so excited about this because it's a story that has to be told. It's a true story of my life about blacks and Ku Klux Klans and whites. We all live in the same house or raised down the same path. Well, I want to invite you all. Sit back and relax. You're going to enjoy the trailer that we're about to do, and I'm just so excited. Again, this is Hilda, and I want to thank all of you. And this is going to be a big movie that's in the making that is about to release. But look at the trailer. The trailer speaks for itself. Again, this is Hilda, and I want to invite all of you to watch the trailer. And don't forget to click the views and subscribe. I have a free stress release CD for you. Come, go on this journey with me. Thank you. I am on my way to this area to meet with one of the associates that used to live with us back in the area that I was raised. So I have mixed emotions. Is because the story is so powerful, compelling, and emotional, and it is really overwhelming for me to make this trip. I picked up the phone the other day, and then I built my nerves up to call one of them, and they asked me to come in and sit down and talk to them. He wanted me to interview him. He said that he wanted his story told. So I'm on my way there, and I want to thank all of you for this that has supported me over the years. I haven't just started this project. I've been working on it for a couple of years, and I'm just really excited about it. I'm not ashamed where I came from, but I do have a lot of questions that has never been answered. It appears to me that now, as I will have the opportunity to find out a lot of things about myself and my family, and why the people was in and out of our house, and some of them stayed. My granddad was very well known, and he had raised us that the color of your skin doesn't matter. He was well known in the black community and the white community, and for some reason these people always was staying with us. Some of them was Klansmen, some of them was white, but it wasn't Klansmen, but they stayed there too. I can remember the cross burnings. I can remember a lot of things about being in this little house. I have always wondered about my family, and I'm getting a lot of answers now. I have written my first book. I'm really excited about it, and we're going to be doing some trailers about this movie, and it is nothing that was made up, nothing that someone just pulled out of the sky. This is a true story of my life. It happened to me and my family. I'm not ashamed of it. It feels like I was in a twilight zone because, you see, I was raised down a path, and I really didn't realize the difference in the color of my skin until I became older in life. Nevertheless, I'm on my way to have an extraordinary interview with one of the families that this one, he was in and out, visit us and stay back there with us. And I called him yesterday, and I asked him about coming. Can I come and walk back there, because I was overwhelmed last week when the gate was open. He said, come on in, and I want you to sit down, and he want me to interview him. So I'm real excited about it. He said his story has to be told. So let's see what he has to say. And again, thank all of you. I am accepting donation, looking for an actress and you can email me or you can call me. It doesn't matter. Again, thank all of you. Thank you for your support, the thousands of you, your views, and thank you for everything you have done. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hi, you all. This is Hilda. I want you to meet Mr. Freddy, and like you said, I've been working on this for years, and Mr. Freddy owned this land, and like I said, even though we were different colors, different values, we all was raised in this area back here. So, Mr. Freddy, why don't you tell them what is the difference now with the way people look at each other and the way people looked at each other when we was back here?
Well, I think it was our parents, the way we were raised. I mean, we were hard-working people. We didn't have a whole lot, but we had a home to live in. We had a bed to lay our head in. Some of us had a little nicer homes, and some of us didn't have that much. But we all got out. We worked together. We all were in a struggle. I just feel like we were raised different than what the mentality of people are in this world now. They kind of forgot where they come from. I haven't. I was raised that way. I always try to teach and treat people with respect. Everybody's got their own opinion, and if my opinion doesn't agree with your opinion, then we know that we don't have the same opinion, but that doesn't mean that we still can't get along.
Well, Mr. Freddy, when we was living back here, it was during the Jim Crow laws, and what, like the blacks and the whites didn't supposed to live together or associate together. It was actually a crime. But at that time, we just didn't pay attention to that, because even though we knew that law was in effect and we knew that it was violating the Jim Crow law, but as you said, we were still raised different, and you think that even though it is that the way it is now, people just, in this day and time, they just don't like each other because of their color, their skin, or their values. And how do you feel about the way people looking at the world as of today?
I think this country is right now is in a mess because of the people, the hate between people these days. They just seem like they don't want to forgive and go on. They want to promote hate. A lot of the media stuff, they thrive on it. I try not to watch it that much because they're promoting hate, and I don't care for trying to promote hate. If you've got a disagreement, you can sit down like gentlemen and men and women and discuss it. And if you still can't, to get that solved, then you go your separate ways. But you just don't need to be hating.
I agree with you, Mr. Freddy. I tell you, when I was a little girl and I came out of this area back here, I didn't realize the color of my skin made such of a big difference until I actually got out of this area. It was like we was protected because we just love each other, and we all had a common goal in mind.
A touching moment on my heart when I was a man of 18 years old, which I was actually still a boy because I was learning, and I had to, live the rest of my life without my father. But I always stuck with my daddy. My daddy taught me a lot. We done a lot of talking when me and my daddy done a lot of bird hunting in this area down here. Raised up, and we did a lot of talking, and he was a good man. He was a hard-working man. He provided for us. We never went hungry. And if he was the type of man, if he knew there was somebody up the street that needed something to eat, we'd always go to the smokehouse. We'd get a ham, a piece of side meat, or shoulder, whatever we had in there, and we would carry it down there to those families to make sure that those children that was in that house had something to eat at night.
Mr. Fred, that's very powerful. You think about these churches today, and they don't want certain people to come in because they do have different beliefs. And by me being an ordained elder, I can understand that, and that is very powerful. And how you say you all used to feed people. People nowadays, it's all about the dollar bill, and I think that is really sad. So what I'm gonna do is we're going to do a little bit more walking, and this is an extraordinary opportunity. I haven't been around Mr. Freddy for a long time. Like I said, there's a lot of memories in this place, and a lot of mystery goes on back here, Mr. Freddy. I heard quite a bit of mysteries, and what we'll do, we'll walk back and maybe sit on the back of the truck and let you tell me about some of the mysteries that goes on back here. Hey, Mr. Freddy, we back here with Mr. Freddy. Mr. Freddy, tell us about those coyotes back here.
Yes, we take a few coyotes through the year while we're deer hunting down here. They're average between 60, 65, 70 pound. Sometimes they almost as big as a German Shepherd dog. We've got the bobcats down here. Years ago, I used to do a lot of trapping, and the average bobcat right here probably weigh 20 to 25 pounds. I have caught one. The biggest one I ever caught down here was 36 pounds, and
Wow.
I could hold that cat up with his hind legs at the bottom of my chin, and his front feet would touch the ground.
That's a big one.
That was the biggest one I ever caught, the biggest one I'd ever seen down here. But I had ran across his track back there in those backwoods, back there in the path, and I made a set and set the traps, and came down one afternoon to check my traps and everything, and I had him caught in that trap. And but they get good size. I mean, I've heard people tell me, they've caught them bigger than the one I caught, but that's the biggest one I've ever caught down here. And I have been in a field back here bee hunting, and I've seen 3 bobcats together chasing after deer. They'll chase the young deer down the same way the coyotes do. They'll catch the younger deer, and that's the way life goes. I mean, they're down here. They're the predators. They hunt, and they go for the small game, the rabbits, the quail, and the field mice and rats down here now.
Do they grow big also back in here? I noticed things in this area back here in this path. Now, it has a history of growing bigger than anything else.
Yes, they get big back in here. And like I said, they don't have even when we're down here, there's a lot of us out hunting. I mean, we'll be hunting an area and be right many guys down here hunting at the same time. And we'll come out, we'll get back up here, and it'll be about be dark time we get back to the clubhouse. And then, I mean, they know when to come out. They'll wait till dark to come out, and you go to hear them howling. You hear the old bobcat squall out every once in a while down here. They know how to avoid danger.
I don't blame them. What about those snakes? I have been told that those snakes grow very big out here in this water. What's the biggest snake you ever seen?
Well, the biggest one down here I've caught is what we call, some people call them black runners. I've always called them chicken snakes. I've caught them down here anywhere from 4 to 5, 6 foot long. Pretty good size, but the snakes really don't. I mean, they're after the mice. We've had occasionally in the clubhouse, we go in there and see signs where one has got in the clubhouse. And
It's time to run, isn't it, Mr. Freddy, when they get in your clubhouse?
well, no, I mean, he's not really. Most time he's not going to bother you. If he sees you, I mean, he's not going to bother you. About the only time a snake will really bother you if you get him cornered or something like that. But I've caught them all my life, so I'm not scared of them. And I'll catch them, and I've caught them in people's houses. They'll call and be hollering, and I've got a snake in the house, and go in the house and catch him and take him on out of the house, and the people feel a lot better then. So.
Well, I'm not afraid of snakes either, but I guess because I was raised back here in this area. But at this point in my life, I don't like for them to get too close to me.
Yes, and they'll surprise you sometimes. I mean, you won't even know they're there. I mean, I've almost stepped on them. We don't have that many poisonous snakes. We got a lot of like the chicken snakes, the brown water snakes. People mistake them a lot for. They call them water moccasins. There's really not that many water moccasins in this area. Uh, Maybe down on the creek you may occasionally see a water moccasin, but a lot of them there's the brown water snake, then there's the striped water snake, and a lot of people mistake him as a water moccasin, but he's really not a water moccasin. He's just a brown water snake with the stripes on him. And we have the occasional king snake, and we've always left the king snakes alone because he catches and kills other snakes. So I've never really tried to kill a king snake because he takes care of all that. He'll take care of it. We do have the copperhead in this area, and I have seen some big ones down here.
How big, Mr. Freddy? How big?
Copperhead doesn't grow real long in length, but it gets real. He'll get around 3, sometimes 4 feet long. He's got a stubby tail to him, but I have seen him big around almost as a Pepsi can.
It's a big snake.
And he's very dangerous, and if he bites you, I mean, you got time to get to the hospital, but you're gonna know it. He's got some real bad poison to him. Your bigger ones like that there, they won't bite, throw as much venom to you as what the smaller ones. The smaller ones, they don't control their bites. When they bite you, they throw everything they've got in them in you. And so you have to be careful around these places around here. Sometimes when you step, this time of the year, a lot of snakes are breeding.
Really?
You might see them 3 and 4, and they'll be all entangled during the breeding season. And
you ever seen that before? I don't think I ever seen that.
Yes, I've seen it a lot being down here, and they get real aggressive when they're breeding. Like now, that's when the people came up with when they call them black runners, because they would be in their courtship mating, and they were disturbed, and they'll come towards you then, and I've seen cases where they'll chase after you.
Oh, that's how they got the black runner's
That's
name
how they
then?
got the name black runner, but he's really just a chicken snake, but the people catch them in their courtship, and they get mad when you break up their courtship. And,
guess it's like human beings. They get mad too.
Yeah, they're kind of mad when somebody intrudes in on your woman. You get aggressive.
They get aggressive, Mr. Freddy. We get aggressive.
They get aggressive. So.
Well, I'm glad you did that clarification. I heard people all the time saying some running snakes. I didn't believe it because I never was chased by a snake back here in this area, but I did see a couple, but I wasn't afraid of them. But I know what you mean. We're going to continue with Mr. Freddy because I know he probably got some other things he need to do, but we're going to do as much as we can today. Right, so we still back here reminiscing in this area here in this small town in North Carolina. Mr. Freddy, this is an extra opportunity, uncensored interview, and I tell you, I can just kind of sit here all day to bring back memories when I was a little girl. There's a lot of mystery that went on back here. I remember you was talking about bobcats, and can you tell us about some of the ghost stories? I met a lady, and she was telling me about a lot of ghost stories back here down this path.
I've heard one. I mean, it was just supposedly somebody killed somebody back here.
Yeah, I heard that.
A gentleman killed. I think he killed, from what I was told years ago, killed his wife back here. And I've heard people say that that her ghost was down here.
Yeah, I heard about that. And, my aunts was telling me about
that's
that.
the only really ghost story I've ever really heard much. When I took it over, a lot of the older people were already past it, had a history down here.
Mm-hmm.
I do have one that was told to me that a gentleman, Mr. Rooster Wooten, that lived in Stantonburg. He run a filling station there in town on Main Street.
Yeah.
And he was a big coon hunter, and he
Mhm.
always loved to coon hunt down
Mhm.
here.
Mhm.
Well, they come down here one night to coon hunt, and the dogs treed, and they got to the tree, and when they shined the light up there, it wasn't a coon in the tree.
Mhm.
Somebody had turned a monkey loose down here,
Mhm. Mhm.
and the dogs treed the monkey. So
What in the world?
they didn't shoot the monkey. They just got the dogs off of it and left it. And I was told they treed that monkey several times down here, and then so they said they came down here, and after that they didn't never. I don't know if the monkey left the area or something, a predator got him or not, but that was one kind of funny old story that I was told back down here from some of the older people years ago. But like I said, when we took this place over, me and my brother had started a hunting club, and we come down here and we cleaned this up.
Yeah.
We had a few people that was in the club back then, and we did a lot of work with excavators, and we hauled off 7 truckloads of trash where people was using this place as a dump, and it was just disheartening to me. And I got with the landowners, and they told me if I cleaned it up, I could have the hunting rights on it and look at it like it was mine. And I've done that for over 26 years now, since the early 90s. And the Shingleton, Garland Shingleton allowed me to put this trailer down here, and we built a little shelter. And we come down here at night sometimes, not as much now as what we used to. But at the start, we'd come down here and we would cook and have we would shoot skeets at night down here, and have a big crowd, cook a pig, invite the landowners down here, and just have a good picnic, family getting together. And we don't do it as much now as what we used to. People just don't seem to want to associate as much and hang out together
like they used to.
Like they used to. But I've sat down here. I raised my son up down here, and I fished these ponds. I learned how to swim in these ponds down here.
Was it true? Now, I was told, I did do some research, and I interviewed Shingleton and some other guys, but they said that the fish here grows very big. Now, I don't know. Uncle Pee Wee told me, that they would grow sometimes 7 or 8 foot long. They used to use a pitfall to actually stand on the edge of the pond and catch these fish. You ever seen the fish grow that big back here?
They've got what they call a carp that gets on up around, and we've caught them.
How big are
they? They get around probably some. I've caught some that was between 20 and 25 pounds. And we've caught them in these ditches down here. When the flood comes out, they come out of the creek in these ponds, and they get in the ditches. And you walk along there, you'll see the top of the water treading.
Yeah.
And you just ease along around him, and a lot of people will use pitchforks.
That's what they said, they use pitchforks.
And you gig him or stab him with the pitchforks and bring him out.
Is he that big then? Is he?
He's pretty good size. I'd say some of them's over 3 foot long. And then you've got what they call the alligator gars around here.
How big they grow?
They grow. I've caught those on up to around 4 foot long, would probably weigh 20, 25 pounds. They're more of a slender fish than the carp is. The carp, he's a bottom feeder.
Do you eat them, or do you just
Some people
throw
eat
them
them.
in the water?
Some people say they're good. Some people say that. I've never tried to eat one.
Seems strange. I don't think I want to
They've
eat
got they've got a real dark vein in their side, and it's real oily. But they say that you can. Some people know how to cook them, and some people say they're good, and some people say they're not worth it. So.
Well, let me ask you this. When I was doing a lot of interviews, they said everything grows big back here. The snakes grow bigger. Everything that comes out of these waters grow bigger than anything. Even my aunt said that. Some of the farmers I talked to, they said everything grows bigger. Even at the creek up there, they say everything come out of that water is just bigger. Is that true?
Yeah, we've got actually we manage the fish down here, the bass fish, and we've got some 9 and 10, 11 pound bass in these ponds down
Really?
here. But we don't take them out, none of the bass, because it's sport fish to us. We just catch them and release.
Release them.
Your crappies and catfish and stuff like that there. Now we do take some out. If a man wants a mess of fish to carry home and cook, then that's what we do. He can we
You let them do it.
we let them do that. But
What's the biggest snake you seen back here? My aunt said she seen one big as 7 feet long.
I've
what she
I've
said.
seen
You seen some big ones?
some big chicken snakes. I've caught
That's what
some.
they call them, chicken snakes?
Yeah, the black. Some people call them black runners. Some of them, but we've always called them chicken snakes.
How big they grow?
Some of those will grow up to 5-6 feet.
You weren't afraid of them? Were you
No,
out catching them?
I was actually, when I was coming as long as a little child, my daddy would catch snakes, and I learned from him. And then I used to hang around this man that lived in Fremont, and he would catch snakes and sell them to NC State College.
Oh, really?
For a living. He would go all over everywhere catching snakes and frogs and stuff like that. And I learned how to catch them from him. I don't see, and I know they're here, I don't see as many snakes riding around the trailer as much as what I have seen in years past. But
It's just,
they're here. You just don't.
know they're here.
You just don't see them as much. And sometimes you can sit down here on the pond. On hot days or something, you'll sit down here. You might see one cruising the top of the water down. But, a lot of what we see down here, a lot of people thinks that if they see a snake in the water, it's a moccasin.
Yeah, they do.
There's not really that many water moccasins. Most of the snakes we have in this area right in here are the brown water snakes, the red bellies, and then they got a water snake that's striped, and he does look venomous, but a lot of them
They look kind scary.
They're not really poisonous, and snakes have their purpose in life. I mean, they catch rats. Some people just they don't like them. I was raised up around them. I mean, I'm not afraid of them. I know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Now we have the copperhead around here. Now he's very, very poisonous.
Really? How big is he?
I have seen some of those get about 4 foot long. They're not they don't get as long, but they get real big. I've seen some run over and caught in this area here that would probably be 2 inches around. Maybe 3.5, 4 feet.
This is Hilda. As all of you know, I'm back here in this small town here in North Carolina, down this famous road that I was raised up here in North Carolina. This is Deacon Dawson to the right and Mr. Freddy to the left. This is what this world is missing, getting along with each other. It doesn't matter by the color of your skin or what walks of life you came from. Mister, see how you get along? See how easy that is to shake hands with each other? It doesn't matter how we think or what we think about. We are all somebody in this world. This area here that I was raised in as a little girl is very, very important to me. It's very important to Mr. Freddy. He was in and out of here, and he made sure this place is taken care of. Hi, my name is Hilda, and I would like to take the opportunity to thank all of you that has supported me over the years in the making of my movie, Under One Roof, Blacks and KKK living under one roof as one family.